Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Sarah's Stitch. I am Sarah and this is my knitting podcast where I can share with all of you my knitting, sorry for the sirens, my knitting makes, works in progress, acquisitions for yarn, plans, all that good stuff, because I'm the only knitter I know in real life and my friend's family and boyfriend will probably kill me if they have to keep listening to me talk about my obsession. Therefore, all of you get to listen to it, and thank you for being here. Welcome back. Can't remember if I said that or not yet. I'm 27 years old. I live in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is right across the river from Manhattan. It is a city, so there may be sirens. You might have already heard them. There will be horn honking, and I am sorry in advance. What else? Oh, subscribe if you like this. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers that that would be amazing if we could get there before my year anniversary. And also follow me on Instagram. I am sarahs.stitch, where I'm posting more frequently on my makes, where I'm at on progress with sweaters, socks, all that good stuff, a little bit more frequently than here. So, and a lot less long-winded. So follow me there if you'd like to as well. All of my projects, yarn dyers, yarn shops, makers, etc. will be linked down below. If I miss anything, let me know. I usually almost always link to my Ravelry pages or the patterns if I haven't started a project yet, and the dyers. So let's get started. So let's get started with what I'm wearing, which I showed last week. This is my Dear Duomo. I will be honest, I haven't woven in or snipped all the ends. I think they're all woven in, but it is blocked. So this is my Dear Duomo in the size 3. It's by Sung Hee Hong, and the yarn is Explore Knits and Fiber in the color Irish Goodbye, which was from the Ireland collection, and I knitted out of fingering tweed held double. So this is how it looks. I hope this is showing. Let's see, sorry, watch, no, hello? Okay, I'm hoping this is showing, if I'm back far enough, let's see. So it did drape up a little bit with blocking. I love the length of the sleeves. They're perfect, just over the thumb length. And I tend to wear all my sweaters tucked in the front, but this is how long it is not tucked. And then tucked. So this is it, I love it. It is a drop shoulder construction. It did take me a while to knit, but that was because I got distracted with other things, not that I didn't love it. So I'm very happy it's done and that I will have it to wear this fall and upcoming spring. I think that's it on this. All right, no finished objects, so we will go on to whips. I will start with the old ones and go into the new ones that are very exciting, but I definitely should not have casted them on. So first up, we have the Ingrid sweater. This is I'm making it for my mom. It is yarn that we got in Chamonix when we were on vacation for Christmas last winter. Duh, Christmas is in winter. She got it from a yarn shop in Chamonix, and it is Lang Mallow light or not light, one or the other. This is what the skein looks like. It's really light, browny gray beige heathered, and the yarn is, it feels unspun, maybe it's single strand, but it's super elastic. I hope that's focusing. And let's see, it's super elastic and fluffy. So that is the yarn. The pattern is by PetiteKnit, if I didn't say that already, or if you don't know somehow. And I just have one sleeve left to go. So I'm making her the size small because the sweater has a lot of positive ease, and I did knit the bottom I think the bottom is to the pattern, but the arm I added some additional decreases in the pattern. I think you stopped the decreases somewhere in this cross section, but I kept the decreases going because she didn't want it super loose on her wrist. She pretty much wanted the exact same sweater as what I made for myself, which is my green one out of Mallard and Cory Confetti. And so I didn't take great notes on that, so I've just been kind of winging it, but that's it. Oh, the other mod is, I did not do the color that's in the pattern. I just did a 2x2 rib, and I'm going to fold it over. So I don't know if you can see, but there is a purl line there, which is the fold part. So was that in frame? I'm using the back camera today because I think it's a little bit better quality and don't have a mirror behind. So I'm like hoping that you can see this, but there's a purl bump right here, which is where it's going to fold. And the only reason I did that is because I saw someone else do it and it seemed like it makes a pretty good seam, like a good fold line, like it lays flat. So I tried that. I need to finish the other sleeve and it will be done and I can get it out of here and over to her. I love this pattern. If you've not made it, I think it's a great like intro to cables. The cross section is super straightforward. It's not even real cables, so it's a good like get your toe wet, figure out how like to kind of deal with cables and like get into the mindset without fully committing to taking stitches off your needle. But yeah, so this is it. I may throw in footage of me trying it on, or you may just have to wait until next week when I'm done with it. So that is the Ingrid sweater. And next is my other gift knit, which is for my dad. This is the Marius. I won't go into too much detail on it because it looks practically the same as when you last saw it, because I am in forever and ever and ever of stockinette until I get to the top half of the yoke. So this is where how far I am. No idea if you can see all of it, but I've got like about 30 centimeters knit of 42 until the underarm split, which isn't even a split because it's a tube and then you steek it. So it's not even a split, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Excuse me. So this is the Marius pattern. I believe it is Marius number 3 technically by Sandscarn. And I am knitting it out of Sandscarn Sisu. And I have the main body is knit out of this like gray, I think it may be heathered, but it's a little tough to tell. It's like a medium gray color. I will have the numbers. The numbers are definitely linked in my Ravelry. I will try and put them on the screen. And then the other colors I'm using 2 contrast colors, which are this very light gray and like a navy blue. So those are the contrast colors, and I did modify it by putting color work at the bottom hem here. It will also be on the sleeves because that is what he wanted. He wanted to match my mom and I with our sweaters, which have color work on the bottom. So I got color work on the bottom, which was a nice, very nice fun time for 10 rows. And now I've just been knitting stockinette round and round and round and round and round and round forever. And what else? So I've been trying to do that as my 30 minutes a day knitting for the month of August because his birthday is in 2 weeks. And I would like to have the body done so he could try it on so I can know if I need to snip it and add more length or not. And then I can get the sleeves done in the fall. But in a perfect world, I will have the body done, sewed together, steeked, all of the things so he could try it on if he would like to. Anything else on that? Oh, that pattern is, I believe, only sold, you can only get it in the magazine. I think it's the Sandscarn, it's like the For Men one. I think that's the pattern I'm using, I think, is the cover page of the magazine. And I got it from Mother Knitter, and I got the yarn from Mother Knitter, but if you buy a Sandnes Garn pattern in one of those magazines, you have to buy the yarn to also make something in the pattern to get the magazine. So that's my disclaimer on that one. But that is what he wanted, so that's what we got. Alrighty, next, here's the fun stuff. So these were the irresponsible cast-ons, you might say. So first, I think I did talk about this last week. We have my Tessellated, which has gotten a lot of love in the last week. A lot of love, considering how far I've gotten. So this is it. It might be a little difficult to show. Excuse the strands of yarn everywhere, but I am on the front of the sweater. This is the Tessellated Pullover by Andrea Mowry, and it is the Rhinebeck 2023 self-proclaimed sweater. I am knitting it out of, let me pull them up. Oh god, okay. Okay, we have Spinster's Daughter, which might be blowing out a little bit. It's this really dark tealy blue green in the color York, which is what Andrea used for her, one of her samples. I don't know if it was the vest or the pullover. She used this, York, Spencer's Daughter. Then I have Oh Dang, which is also Farmer's Daughter, and this is a Surrey alpaca blend. Spencer's Daughter is a collaboration between Spin Cycle and Farmer's Daughter Fibers. Spin Cycle spun the wool. It is the same base as Dyed in the Wool, except it is spun bare, and then the Indie Dyers dye it. So there's Spencer's Daughter Moon Spun, which is by Moondrake and Spin Cycle, and then Dyed in the Skein, which is the Magpie version, and Magpie was in the last year's sweater. And then my Dyed in the Wool, it's only a tiny little nub now. I'm using Mississippi Marsala, which is like blues, oranges, reds, a little pinks. That's it. That was a mistake to just throw it all on the floor, but I am on the front panel. I'm making a size 4 and I'm loving it. It's so addicting. It's so easy. The 3 inches of ribbing at the bottom, not ideal, but got through it, and I'm loving the color changing. I kind of hate the blue section that's like right here. It was, I don't know if this is gonna focus. It was like a light blue, a dark blue, combined with the Ranch Romance and the York Spinster's Daughter, that it's like kind of all blending together, and I can't tell if I hate it or not. But I watched Candace she's the owner of Farmer's Daughter Fibers. She has a podcast called Chats with the Farmer's Daughter, and she was talking about, why am I pointing at this? She was talking about her Tessellated and how you can't really tell how it's gonna look until the whole thing's done. So I know there's gonna be more sections that have the blue, like the double blue in it. So that's what I'm hoping for, to like even it out so it doesn't look like such a sore thumb, because like everything else is like orange and blue or red and blue, that it kind of bothers me a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. What else? Oh, I am knitting this on the recommended needles. So these are 3.5 millimeter needles, and I did the ribbing on 2.75 millimeter needles. And I'm really hoping I never have to do this much ribbing ever again, because it took forever, and I miscounted, and I realized when I slept for sleeves, so I was 4 short. No. Yes, 4 short. So it is a tubular cast on, so, which is a pain of a cast on to do. It does look very nice when it's done, but it's very difficult to count the number of stitches you have, at least for me, to count the number of stitches I have, and I have the smallest attention span in the world and can never remember what number I'm on, so I kind of just guess where I think I am. Usually it works out, but this time it did not. I mean, it worked out enough. I only had a cast on recast on ones. But the first, it was because I accidentally like untwisted some of the cast on stitches on the setup row, and I didn't know how to retwist them back on, so I just ripped it out and redid it. But when I got to the sleeve split, I realized I was 4 stitches short. No, yeah, it must have been 4 stitches short. So that's a 4-stitch repeat. So I just cut the number of stitches I had in half, and half is for the front, half is for the back, and I will just have to fiddle with the decreases when I get there for the neck. But I think it should be fine. It's only 4 stitches. Like, it's not going to affect anything that much anyway. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Next and final cast on that you did not see from last week is, I did not even discuss this. Maybe I did. This is the Seela sweater. It is by Jonna, probably pronounced Jonna. Hietala, I want to say. She is one of the women behind Lina, and this is her pattern. She wrote it, I believe, last year for like a women's empowerment charity fundraiser. I'll put the details on the screen or down below. But this is the pattern. It is meant for, originally it was written for brushed alpaca by Sandisgarn, but I'm using, I think, a phenomenal combination of Explore Knits and Fibers. The collar is knit in her Earthy DK, and then the body is gonna, so all of the cuffs and collars and like ribbing will be in the non-superwash, and all of the body will be in the boucle and the arms. And it is the lightest, fluffiest yarn I've ever used. It's kind of a pain to knit with because of all the loops, but it's fine. This is what it looks like. It's beautiful and gorgeous. I don't know if I said yet, tawny from the National Parks collection, and I think there are still some skeins from the what should we calling it, summer update, like the summer series. Sorry. From the summer, whatever, summer shop. She still has a little bit left in her shop. No boucle, but that's fine. She has other colors left. And this pattern, so the designer of this pattern also wrote the Lento. And it's a very similar setup to the Lento. I think it seems to have a little bit like deeper of a raglan, but it is 4mm needles for the ribbing and then 6mm needles for the body. I started this on 6mm needles and I got about to there-ish and decided it was way too holy for me, so I ripped it all out and I am knitting it on 5mm needles and hoping I have enough yarn to do the sweater. That's a later Sarah problem. And what else? I'm making the size 3 right now, however, oh no, I think I just found a drop stitch. Oh goodness, shit. Oh, that is a drop stitch. How the hell did that happen? Interesting. No, I think this is boucle. Okay, I need a stitch marker or something for this. Okay. What was I saying? Boucle. Oh, 6mm. I'm knitting it on 5mm because it was too gapey, or not gapey, but like holy. Did not seem like it would be warm at all. Did I gauge swatch? No, I did not. But that's, you know, c'est la vie. So much for the year of swatching. All right, now am I ever gonna be able to find this drop stitch again? I feel like I need to put like the Jeopardy music in while I do this. High quality entertainment here, people. Okay, we're back. We're back. Crisis not averted, but whatever. Let's see. What else can I tell you about this without yawning? Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, so originally I had planned to do the bison sweater. That is what I bought the yardage for, but it was not the most size inclusive pattern, so I decided to take the pattern idea of doing a non-textured yarn as the cuffs, hem, all of the things, and apply it to a sweater that was a bit more size inclusive. So I should have the measurements, but I don't, of how large the sweater goes to. But in hindsight, I probably should have done a different pattern than this one, just based off of the needle size and everything. The yarn it was written for is brush alpaca, I think I said that already, but that's like classed as a bulky yarn. This is a DK yarn, so that's why I had to go down needle sizes. And this may, I mean, this may puff up a little bit when I wash it, but I don't think it's gonna puff up that much. So I'm happy with the gauge I'm getting now, but I feel like I probably should have followed like the Cozy Classic Raglan or what should we call it? The No Frill sweater, just for a little bit closer to what I actually am using for yarn. But it's an adventure and I get to do a little bit of a different designer than I normally do. So I can see how this would be like the most addicting thing in the world to make a million of, because especially if you have yarn that meets the gauge, because I think gauge is like 14 stitches over 4 inches, so it's a huge gauge, and like it would go so quickly if I was using 6mm needles. Not that it's not going quickly with 5, but like it would go so much quicker with 6s. So that is that. I'm going to put it on barber cords when I get to the end of the increases for the raglans that are recommended for the size I'm making right now, which is 3, and then I'm gonna try it on and just double check that it is okay size wise, because I did go down a whole millimeter for needles, so I don't want it to be like too small. And I'm just hoping and praying I have enough yarn to do this full sweater. It just may be a bit cropped, so oops, sorry, did not mean to kick you. So that is the Seela, and I hadn't seen this pattern before, but I'm on the Mother Knitter emails, and they had put out an email blast like early last week about the Seela cowl and like whatever, advertising the brushed alpaca. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll buy more yarn. And then I was like, wait, let's look at the stash and see if we can make anything from the stash. So I was like, oh, I could use the boucle. So that's why I'm using the boucle, and that's how I found the pattern. But Jonna is having a cowl for the Seela sweater, I think from now through sometime in September. I'll put the date on the screen. But so that was another reason to knit that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a cowl. I never enter cows, but like I'd like to do a cowl, please. So that is why I'm knitting the Seela. I think it will be done very quickly if I had to guess, but I'm just looking at all my other whips that I should probably be working on instead, but that's fine, it's fine. So that is it for my whips. I am going to plan to be a bit more regimented with my whips. So I just watched Martin from 365's latest podcast. It was his July roundup, and he mentioned a method of like knitting or getting through tasks. I forget what the name of it was, but like you put a certain amount of time to that task and you do that task for the entire amount of time or until it's finished, and then you go on to the next one. So that is what I'm going to try and do also for August. So what I'm planning is I'm going to do my 30 minutes of knitting every day on my dad's sweater, the Marius, And if I want to keep going, I will. However, because it's such small needles, it's been hurting my hands a little bit. And I think it partially has to do with the fact that I'm using interchangeable needles on those, but I have high interchangeables, but they're not like, I can never get them to lock fully, and I feel like they're always untwisting because they have untwisted on me before. So I think I'm gripping the needles really tight so they don't twist that much in my hands when I'm knitting, and it's hurting my wrists. So I need to get fixed circulars for his sweater, strictly so I can knit on it longer, because like the Tessellated is 3.5. Like it's not that much of a difference that it would hurt my wrists and like my forearms more on my dad's, but I think it's the interchangeable that's bothering my wrists. So that is 30 minutes a day. And then everything else I'm doing for 5 hours, and then I will switch. So that probably will be like focusing on one project a day for a day or two, and then going on to the next. So that is my plan for whips for the month. I do have my socks still. I have a lot of socks still. So I may need to figure out where I'm going to fit the socks into the equation. But that is the sweater plan at the moment. All right, acquisitions. I only have a couple. So first, I'm sorry for the crinkling. I have my June Patreon yarn from Molly from a homespun house. So I got I'm in the tier that has the sock set and the minis. So the minis this month are Slumber Party, Acid, and Drive Through. And these are them. They are gorgeous, bright, amazing. I can't wait to put these in my blanket. So the top is Slumber Party, I believe. Maybe not. I don't know. I know this is definitely Acid. One of these is Slumber Party, one of these is Drive Through, but they're gorgeous. And I'm pretty sure Molly has sock sets of these two full skeins in her shop right now. And then I have this sock set, which is called Summer Sun. And it is, oh my God, it's so pretty. I saw Molly made a pair of socks with these in her latest podcast, and I hadn't gotten this yarn yet, and I was like constantly refreshing her page or her website to see if I could buy these, because before she talked about them, because I wanted them so badly, and I'm so happy that these were the Patreon socks because I love this color, and this is going to be my next pair of socks I cake up and cast on. And then my only other acquisition, I believe, is, this is the crinkling, and I'm sorry. Oh my God. More spin cycle. I believe I talked about this on the last episode, but this is called Straw Flower. It is a new colorway, I think. But like, oh my God, look at it. Look at it. It's so good. I think they described it as like wild horses, like in the like colors, like the like saturated colors, but Ghost Ranch and like the long color changes. Oh my God, I can't wait to make something with this. I don't know what I'm gonna make. I think it's gonna be 2 sweaters because I like need it in everything, but like these are gorgeous, gorgeous. But alrighty, that is it from me. Please let me know what you were working on while you watch this. Let me know if I forgot to add anything to the comments. Subscribe if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, and I will talk to you next week. Have a good week. Bye.